Oh, hi, thanks for checking in. I'm still a piece of garbage. Oh, hi, thanks for checking in. I'm still a piece of garbage. Oh, hi, thanks for checking in. I'm still a piece of garbage. Oh, hi, thanks for checking in. I'm still a piece of garbage. Oh, hi, thanks for checking in. I'm still a piece of garbage.
Howdy gamers! Hello! I hope you all having a fantastic day. I hope you're all having a fantastic Thursday, gamers. I'm having a great Thursday. Hello, 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 hello. I hope you're all having a great day. Welcome in, gamers. Welcome in. Gamers, this week is the last week. It's the last week. This is the listen. This is it. This is the last week before I take a break for the holidays, and then I won't see you guys again until probably the new year. Holy shit! The head of the gingerbread man! Isn't it great? Alright, but don't worry. We've got today, and we've got tomorrow, and we've got Saturday, and we've got Sunday, and we're gonna have a great time. Friday, tomorrow, I'm having a big old Lethal Company collab, and it's gonna be so poggers. It's gonna be so poggers. You guys should all come. It's gonna be great. You guys should all come and check out the collab. It's gonna be so fun. I'm so excited. Oh my good golly gosh, it's gonna be great. Today we're gonna I got some muns for Christmas. Oh, I gotta send a thank you note to the person who sent me Christmas card. I gotta do that. I forgot. I got some muns for Christmas, and so because like listen, it was massive sale. Okay, massive sale. All right, like Red Dead Redemption 2 Ultimate Edition was like normally $100. Okay, I spent a solid $30 on it. Like, listen, I can't turn down a sale like that. Are you kidding me? Yes, I might have Red Dead Redemption 2 on my PlayStation 4 and my Xbox One. And I may have already owned a copy of Red Dead Online on my computer, but that doesn't matter because listen, I can't turn down a massive sale for my favorite game of all time, of all creation. Like, that's a huge sale, okay? And plus, I don't own story mode on my PC yet. So I don't have all the achievements and stuff on my Steam, and I like having those kinds of things. So I like having the achievements and stuff on my Steam. So, you know, it's worth it to me. Either way, we're starting our playthrough. I know, that's my, see, love, you get it, love, you get it. Love gets it. Like, I like having it on my PS4. Don't get me wrong. I do. It's just streaming. Like, I have to, like, oh my god. But if I want to stream something with my PS4, I have to go to the other side of the room, unplug it from the television, get the power cord, find the HDMI cord to my capture card, plug it into my capture card, plug the thing into the wall. It's a process. Also, my PS4 is a little bit of a jet engine. Oh, listen, I feel you. I feel you. That's why I don't really play on mine very often. I love my PS4, but also like all of my there's no reason for me to stream on PS4 if I'm quite honest. Like, the only reason I'd stream on PS4 is to play Persona 5, because that's, I think, a PlayStation exclusive. Like, the only reason why I even keep getting PlayStations is because of PlayStation exclusives. Because most PlayStation exclusives won't come to PC. So, again, and you know, if I don't stop now, I'm just going to go into the whole argument of why PlayStation is better than Xbox. And we're going to be here for ages. Anyways. We're gonna do some rootin' tootin' cowboy shootin' 2 today. That's the plan. That's our game plan for today, is we're doing rootin' tootin' cowboy shootin'. Tomorrow we have our Lethal Company collab. I forget what we're doing Saturday, if I'm quite honest. I don't remember. I didn't post the schedule in the Discord again. This always happens. Why do I do this to myself? At everyone. I am not late. Posting schedule, you are. Oh Oh, Saturday we're doing Overwatch. We're doing Overwatch Saturday. And then Sunday is listed Sea of Thieves, but that's up in the air. We might end up doing something else besides Sea of Thieves. Anyways, rootin' tootin' cowboy shooting. I don't know. I'm excited. I love Red Dead. Listen. Red Dead is my favorite game. My favorite game of all time. Listen. I will die on the hill of Red Dead Redemption for, like, I can't. This series is so good. It's my favorite fucking thing in the entire world. I love Red Dead, okay? Listen, I love Red Dead so much that when Dragon Con came around 2 years ago, this was 2 years at this point, or it was like last year. We're not in 2024 yet. Once it's 2024, then I can say it's 2 years. Anyways, last year, I love Red Dead Redemption 2 so much. I paid, like, a good, like, I'm not gonna say how much because I don't remember if I'm quite honest, but it was a chunk. It was a good chunk of money just to go see the voice actors for the game and get them to sign my shit, all right? That's how much I love this game. I feel like you have to have a very special kind of dedication to a craft or to a franchise, a game, a movie, or what have you, to drop a chunk of money to go meet somebody, especially if you have social anxiety like myself. Hi, Matsura! Where are we dropping, cowboys? We're dropping over in the Amberino, in the mountains. You're so real for that. Thank you. I feel validated. Thank you. Shit. I still gotta get that fucking poster framed. Yeehaw! Yee! And I cannot stress this enough. Ha. Ha yee, gamers! Yee ha ha yee! Oh, I just realized I brought the Chonky out, but I don't know if I can have the Chonky because I'm gonna have my controller. Where can we put Chonky? Chonky can sit on my head! Yeah, we'll put Chonky on my little hat. There you go, Chonky. You just hang out up there. Because we also gotta say that Nana is the GOAT because she got me a situation. Hell yeah. I am. Listen, yeah, you're so right. I am the GOAT. Where's my controller? I can't find my controller. What, do you not like my goat noises? Do you not like my goat noises? I mean, we could do the other ones. What's the Taylor Swift goat? Is there wrong would like to know your location? In a galaxy far, far away. Your goat noises bring other goat noises to shame. Damn. What am I looking for? Nyaru pad. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for Nyaru pad. And then I'm looking for volume mixer. Where did I put it? Here it is. Because I turned down Red Dead because it was being a little loud. We're gonna put it at, like, we'll put it at 65 and see how that is. No, my scarf! My scarf hides my controller! I'm gonna be cold. I'm gonna be so cold, gamers! Oh, you know what I just remembered? Oh, man. Well, I don't know if it'd be good for this stream. There was somebody there's a VTuber that was absolutely poggers and released, like, a bunch of free blanket assets that I forgot to download. I meant to download those. Oh, well. Alright, anyways. Rootin' tootin' cowboy rootin' tootin' cowboy shootin'. Story. For next time, for sure, yes. Absolutely. Considering I remember. Rootin' tootin' cowboy tootin'. Wait. Hold it. Oh, thank you, I appreciate it. Rootin' tootin' cowboy tootin'. I hate it here. America was becoming a land of laws. I missed the first part of this. Even the West had mostly been tamed. I can't read cursive for shit. A few gangs still roamed, but they were being hunted down and destroyed. Not just them toes, I'm coming for them kneecaps too. Rockstar Games presents. Oh, here we go, gamers. It's starting. Here we go. Aaron Garbutt. That's an unfortunate last name.
Abigail says he's dying, Dutch. We'll have to stop someplace. Okay, Arthur's out looking. I sent him up ahead.
If we don't stop soon, we'll all be dying. This weather, it's May. I'm just
It's
hoping
May.
we all got as lost as we did.
There. Arthur! Any luck?
Look at my
Place where
man.
we can get some shelter. Let Davy rest while he...
Let Davey rest.
An old man in town.
An old mine in town.
Come on. Come on! Yeah!
Hell yeah. Man, you know what I was thinking about the other day? I was thinking about the debut trailer for Red Dead 2. All those years ago when that came out, man. Really? Because I feel like I'm doing shit.
Bring him in here.
I know the game's quiet. I plan on as soon as I can get to a point where I can pause, I'm gonna pull up the menu and turn up the sound a little bit. Right?
Miss Gaskell,
I cried.
get that fire lit, quick. Miss Jones, bring in whatever blankets we have. Mr. Pearson, see what we've got in terms of food.
Davy's dead.
There was nothing more you could have done.
Poor
What are we
Davy.
gonna do? We need supplies.
Rip Davy.
First of all, you're gonna
We
stay
didn't know you, but
and you were gonna get yourself warm. Now, I sent John and Micah scouting out ahead. Arthur and I, we're gonna ride out, see if we can find one of them. This, just for a short bit. And I don't see
Yeah.
what other choice we have.
not much.
Listen to me, all of you, for a moment. Now, we've had
Hang on 1 second, I'll be right back.
a bad couple of days.
No, not Davy Jones
love
Locker. I hate it
Davy,
here.
Jenny, Sean, Mac, they may be okay. We don't know.
Start it, Bailey.
But we lost some folks. Now, if I could throw myself in the ground in their stead, I'd do it. Gladly. But we're gonna ride out, and we're gonna find some food. Everybody,
Oh, I need my
we're
blanket.
safe
Hang on.
now.
Yep.
There ain't nobody following us through a storm like this one. And by the time they get
Oh
here,
my god. All right.
well, we're gonna be
How long
we're
have
gonna be
I been on the
long
floor?
gone.
Ugh.
We've been through worse than this before. Mr. Pearson, Miss Grimshaw, I need you to turn this place into a camp. We may be here for a few days. Now, all of you,
Yes.
get yourselves warm. Stay strong.
Okay.
Stay with me. We ain't done yet.
Master of
Arthur.
speeches.
All right. We've got some work to do.
We ain't run into them yet, so they both must have headed down the hill.
Sure. Hey, I ain't had time to ask you. What really went down back there on that boat?
Yeah, what
We miss
happened?
you. That's what happened. Come on. Oh.
Hey, you need horses?
Oh, yeah. Hey, Mr. Smith, get yourself indoors. You need to rest that hand.
I'll live.
Get indoors, son. We need you strong.
I didn't realize until like my like my third or fourth playthrough of the game that Charles gives you Taima to ride for this portion of the
We
game.
have to try. Stay close. We'll do our best to stick to the trail.
Goddamn. What?
Can I? There we go. Yeah, I didn't realize until like my third or fourth like time starting the playthrough. And I like he said something like I finally noticed that like he had said something like Arthur was like, "Oh, you know, thanks for letting me ride Taima the other night." And I was like, "What? Huh? What? What do you mean?" All right, hopefully that's good enough.
Been 2
Hopefully
days
it's a
or
little
more like
louder.
this now. Oh, it has to blow over
It really
soon.
is. I mean, I knew they all had special horses. I just didn't know Charles was like, "Here, take my horse."
Careful over this bridge here.
What bridge? There's a bridge there? I can't tell there's a bridge there. Everything's covered in snow. Oh shit.
Can't believe we lost
Oh, hi,
Dave
thanks for
too.
checking in. I'm still a piece of garbage.
No more.
Thank you for the lurk. I really appreciate it.
Those people warm and fed.
Yeah, warm
We
and
don't
fed.
need to worry about Pinkertons tailing us in this.
A couple more days, we'll be on the other side. You need to help me pick the others back up.
That
You're
yes,
the
sir.
only one I can rely on to stay strong right now.
We got fire and shelter.
Wait, is that someone coming towards us?
I don't see shit. I don't know how Dutch saw anybody coming towards us over here.
You up ahead. Who's there? Micah.
Gentlemen,
Found anything?
I think so. Found a little homestead down that way.
Okay. Anyone home?
Sure. Place is blazing with light and noise. Sounded like a party.
Let's go see.
Follow me. How's Davy doing?
He didn't make it. Nor did little Jenny.
That's too bad. Davy was a real fighter. Both of them calendar boys is, or was.
Come on, Arthur, we gotta catch up. We're falling behind.
We don't know.
Quite a business.
Ah!
Whoa there.
I'm glad you're all right, Micah.
Always.
Ask him if he's seen John.
Hey, have you seen John, Micah?
Didn't see much of anything once this storm came in.
I'm trying to catch up. It's so hard to catch up.
He'll be fine. Things always turn out right for that boy.
I hope
Boah.
Mac and Sean are still out there somewhere too. Hey, Arthur, let me take the rear. You move up.
Okay, which? Oh shit! I wasn't sure which way you were turning. I'm sorry.
You run into anybody else? I reckon we're the only ones crazy enough to be out
I'm glad you're feeling so good about it. Hi, Matcha.
Ain't much. Shelter. So, this house, you speak to the people there already? No. Like Dutch told us. Look, don't talk to no one. Just
I
follow
know.
orders. You know
Hi, I am very normal about this game. Oh, listen, me too. I'm so normal about this game. I'm so normal. I'm doing well. How are you? Oh, I can't talk to him anymore. Well, that's fine. I didn't want to talk to Micah anyways. Ah,
Let's
shit.
keep it down.
Ah, shit. Oh, fuck. Sorry,
Keep
fuck.
it down now, gentlemen. It's just
Sorry.
up ahead.
Snuff and stash those lanterns, boys. Best you two lie low on this.
Lie low. We're cowboys. There's no such thing as lying low. Poor Taima. I bet Taima is so cold. Taima's like, get me out of there. I don't want to be here. It's so fucking cold.
Let's hitch up here.
Where are the hitching posts? I don't see no hitching posts. I see trees. Oh. Oh, I see him now.
Let me handle this. We don't want to spook these fine people.
Oh, fine people, I'm sure. I know. Time is being so good. I know. They're partying up in there.
One lonely man is a lot less intimidating than three nasty-looking degenerates.
Damn, what's that supposed to
In that
mean?
cattle shed on the left. Micah, get down behind that wagon in front.
Do I really look like a degenerate? I thought Arthur looked pretty nice. No, oh yeah, you're right, Hello? Yeah, shut up, Billy. Shut up.
Hello?
Shut up,
Oh,
Billy.
what?
God.
Hello, friend.
What you want?
What you
I
want?
am very sorry to disturb you. My friends and I, well, we got into some...
A cowboy playboy? Oh my God.
in the storm. Gentlemen.
We can't help you, mister.
I got folks
Arthur.
dying on the
Arthur,
trail.
we got a problem. There's a corpse right here.
Oh shit.
I just
Arthur,
need some
there's a body
cans of food
in the
or
wagon.
something.
There's a body in the wagon.
I'm Dutch.
I think you should go now, buddy.
Now, friend.
Oh, I thought it would explode. I'm so sad. Hang on, I'm coming. I'm gonna get him. Where is he running? No escape.
Didn't seem to be going too well. Goddamn O'Driscoll boys here. Why? I don't know.
How do you know they're O'Driscoll boys?
Micah, go bring the horses closer to the house. Arthur, let's go search the cabin. Smells like a party in here.
It for real does.
Upside down.
Wait, no, I have a story. Hold on, I have a story to tell about my headshots and why why the headshots are so good, okay? Hold on. All right, so this was a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. When the first Red Dead Redemption was out and the online servers were still on, I would play on the online servers all the time. And I met this person, like, in the online servers. And we became friends, and we started hanging out, right? And he was really good at his headshots. And one day I asked him, like, hey, you know, like, how are you so good at your headshots? And he explained to me, he gave me this little tip, okay? He said, we were all on console, by the way. So he aims and then he takes his analog stick and moved it like just up, like slightly up, and like and you know, like obviously, so he does that, right? And I started practicing doing it after I learned it from him, and that was years ago, and I've been doing it ever since, and it's great. I don't know where he is now, but man, I think about him all the time. I wonder what he's up to now. It's great, though. Anyways, that's why I'm so good at my headshots in Red Dead. Only in Red Dead. Only in Red Dead. I'm shit aim everywhere else. My aim in Red Dead is decent. Everywhere else, my aim is shit.
Any supplies as you can.
Anyways, that's my story.
The essentials. Food.
Right? He was a really nice guy. I really liked hanging out with him. He was a chill dude.
I'm starving. You should eat something now. Get your strength up for the ride back.
Could be good in GTA. It's basically... Oh, this is true. I haven't played GTA in God knows how long. I like GTA, but not as much as, like, as Red Dead, you know? It doesn't feel the same. It doesn't hit the same as Red Dead does.
There's a big price on Colm O'Driscoll's head. Nearly as big as the one on yours.
I feel like the community for GTA is completely different than the community for Red Dead too. No GTA 6 streams? No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
Place is dry.
I just said that I prefer Red Dead over GTA. I don't actively like dislike GTA or not, or you know, have a will against like, you know, or like streaming it. I just personally prefer GTA over or what? No, I prefer Red Dead over GTA. God damn it. I'm trying to remember if there's anything else in here.
You keep looking.
Oh yeah. Man, me too. LA Noire, I think there's like even less of a chance of them bringing it back because they kind of tied up all the loose ends with GTA. For fuck's sake! Now you said GTA 6, and now it's all I'm thinking about. God damn it. They tied up all of the loose ends with LA Noire. You know, like they kind of, it was a one-shot storyline, and they finished it all in one go. Bully they could bring back pretty well, you know. They could bring that. There's lots of different routes they could take with that. Cole Phelps traffic. Yep. This is Detective Cole Phelps, badge number 1247. Is there anything else? I think this is blood. Blood. All right, I think that's everything. I think we got everything. All right. He says that shit so often in the game.
Keep looking for stuff.
I think you're supposed to.
Go see
Yep.
if there's anything in that barn.
I'm going. Listen, I read your mind. I'm from the future.
Sure.
Why did I do that? The entrance is right there. Do. Oh no! Yeah, he started it. Ew, bitch. Yeah. Get some. Your cousin was an asshole.
Not yet. Find out what they're doing here. And
Who do you work for?
Oh, this son of a bitch will talk.
Who do you work for?
O'Driscoll? With the others. At an old mining camp southwest of here. Near the What are you bastards doing?
Yeah, what are you doing here?
Are you up here? We're fixing to rob some train. Gonna blow the tracks. No, I don't know more than that, I swear.
Well, I would say it looks like you have this, Arthur.
I
What's
do.
wrong with him? I don't care.
All right, what are we doing, gamers? Are we killing him? Are we letting him leave? What do you think?
I don't know anything else. Please. Please, spare me. I promise.
Shut up!
I won't breathe a word to nobody.
So we're letting him go, you think? We're gonna let him live?
Please. You'll never see me again.
Get out of here.
Get the hell out of here. Go.
I see your ass again, I'll shoot you, I swear to God. Get on out of here! Scram! Oh, where's my gun? No wonder I couldn't draw my gun. I was so confused. Oh, shit. Nope. Wrong button. Wrong button. There we go. And then I gotta get my hat. It's very important that I get my hat. Alright.
Easy. You're okay. Whoa, now.
You're okay, horsey. You're okay.
You're okay, boy.
Yeah, you're okay, boy. Come on now. Let's go, boy. You're alright, boy.
You let him go, huh? So all the little bastards scurrying off.
Yeah. Figured he won't get far in this anyway.
That looks like a decent horse. You should keep him. You need to hitch him. He's already skittish.
There we go. Oh, shit. Oh, shit.
How do you think you're doing?
Oh, fuck.
Leave her alone.
I wasn't doing nothing. She's one of them O'Driscolls.
No, she ain't, Micah. Look at her. Miss. Are you...
Oh, you fool! Micah!
Oh, my God. Micah, what a dumb bitch. You're so stupid, Micah.
We mean you no harm. Miss. Come on. It'll be okay. We need to get out of here, and quick. Come on.
I know.
Oh,
Literally, all the real ones hate Micah. All the real ones hate Micah. Fuck Micah. What a fucking dumbass.
Miss, you are safe now. And you can't stay here. You come with us. Arthur.
Miss, it's okay. We're bad men. We ain't them. It's okay. Get on.
No, you don't. Micah don't give a shit. Micah don't give a fuck. Micah cares about what's good for Micah. Micah don't care about what's good for the rest, for everybody else.
Adler.
Adler.
Sadie Adler. Mrs. He was my husband.
Yeah! God, the soundtrack for this game slaps.
Looks like it's Dutch. Hey, everybody, Dutch is back. How'd you get on?
Micah found a homestead, but he
It's
weren't
so good.
touched.
Oh, it's so good. It slaps so hard.
They beat us to it. We found some of them there, but there is more about. Apparently, scouting the train. Thank you.
That's the last thing we need right now, Dutch.
Well, it is what it is. But we found some supplies, some blankets, a little bit of food, and this poor soul, Mrs. Adler. Miss Tilly, Miss County,
Gay!
warm her up, give her a drink or something. And Mrs. Adler, It's gonna be okay. You're safe now. They turned her into a widow. Animals. I need some rest. I haven't slept in 3 days.
You're over here. Miss O'Shea will show you the way. Mr. Morgan, we put you in a room over here.
Thank you, Miss Grimshaw.
Mr. Bell, you're with the fellas over there.
What? How come Arthur gets a room and I get a bunk bed next to Bill Williamson and a bunch of darkies?
Get yourself to bed.
Hey, shut up, Micah. Racist piece of shit. I'd have slapped the hell out of you just for saying some shit like that. Arthur got flashbangs.
Weather ain't let
That's
up.
me. That would be me.
Strong. And he's smart. Strong, at least. Hello, Arthur.
Abigail?
Arthur, how you doing?
Just fine, Abigail.
He knows.
I need you to... I'm sorry. I'm sorry to ask, but...
It's little John. He's got himself caught into a scrape again.
He ain't been seen in two days.
Your John will be fine. I mean, he may be as dumb as rocks.
He's like, why is it so bright?
But that ain't changing because he got caught in some snowstorm.
Please go take a look. Javier?
Yes.
Javier, will you ride out with Arthur to take a look for John? You're the two best fit men we've got.
Now?
We're pretty worried about him.
I know. The situation were reversed. And he looked for me.
Thank you.
This way.
I know, it's so good.
John was headed up the river.
For all we know, he kept riding north and never looked back.
He wouldn't leave. Not like that.
Wouldn't be the first time.
Oh, the cinematic camera is so good in this game. Fuck. See, when game developers say they're doing cinematic games, this is what I think they're talking about. Not the Quarry kind of shit. Not the Quarry kind of cinematic.
Well, seems somebody left
Excuse me.
recently.
Oh god, not the Quarry.
And that way.
Sure, well, come on then.
Sorry, not to toss shade, but like... the Quarry was interesting, to say the least.
Let's cross. See, they continue up that way.
You think it's John?
You tell me. These are horse tracks for sure, but could be anyone. Let's just see where they lead.
How am I can't, I don't think I can tell you, Javier. Like, all horses, like, their hooves look relatively the same.
Seemed fine. And suddenly they were everywhere.
Bounty hunters?
No, Pinkertons. It was crazy. Raining bullets.
Exactly. That's what I think, like when people...
This crevice.
What crevice? This crevice? Oh, that crevice.
Dutch killed a girl in a bad way. But it was a bad situation.
That ain't like him, though.
Tracks go left, down here.
I feel like that some game developers are losing, like, or they're blurring the lines of what, like, cinematic, like a cinematic gameplay experience would be, you know?
We were only just holding on.
I don't think that,
Bad business, all right.
I don't think that cinematic means making your game, like a movie. I think that, like, I don't know. The Quarry was ridiculous. Yeah, yeah. I think we got like at the Game Awards. There's quite a few good looking third person games that got announced. I think, pretty sure, yeah. So I mean, at least for next year, we got some shit to look forward to.
Careful, it's getting narrow here. Come on.
Oh God, please do not walk off the edge. You...
Yeah, a lot of fresh snow here.
Not Gonzo. Bro, Gonzo felt so random.
Maybe we'll pick up the trail again.
Almost there, boy. Come on now.
You got this. Come on, horse. I believe in you. Work them muscles.
Over there. You see that?
You got them strong legs, boy. I believe in you.
John was riding that horse when we left Blackwater. Let's see if he can.
That's right. We got to protect Neil Newbon at all costs. Oh, my horse is still walking. Whoops.
Up there.
You coming, Javier? Let's go.
It's coming from up ahead somewhere. I don't think we can go much further on the horses. We'll have to walk
Can I
from
pat
here.
my horse yet?
I grabbed that shotgun from your horse. Who knows what's
No. I can't pat my horse yet. I'm sad. Here we go.
down this way.
How come Javier gets to pat his horse, but I can't pat mine? My horse deserves pats too. What kind of shit is that?
You sure about this?
Yep, for sure.
It's coming from this way.
Okay.
Watch out here.
Don't fall. Don't fall. Don't mess up. Don't mess up.
Yeah, that we're high up here.
You're telling me.
Careful.
Bro, Matsuda, when I tell you I've been playing so much, like, Red Dead Online lately, I've been playing a shit ton of Red Dead Online lately.
Careful.
I've been playing a metric fuck ton of Red Dead
Watch your head
Online.
here. Okay. Good now.
I'm trying, but it won't let me.
It's real slippery.
Stay close.
Hang
to
on,
the
I gotta eat some beans. My stamina core dropped. I gotta eat some beans.
Come on. That sounds closer now. Come on.
I'm so excited. We're about to see my favorite. No, I've just been playing it a lot lately. I'm trying to get, hang on. There it goes. I'm trying to get like the cooking pot for the trader roll. I'm so close. I have a coupon for like 50% off a trader, like a roll item. So I'm trying to get, that fucking cooking pot for my camp. Marshed!
John!
Out on the ledge!
That's John! We're coming!
Over here!
It's my boy! I'm so excited. Oh my god.
Down here! All right! Hot down, Marston!
Yeah!
That's quite a scratch you got there.
Look at him! It's
Never
my
thought
guy.
I'd say
My
this,
man's.
but
I love
good
him.
to see you, Arthur Morgan. You don't look so good. I don't feel too good neither. I'm freezing. die just yet, cowboy.
Come on, compadre. Well, can't go back the way we came. Let's try this way.
Ain't you a sorry sight? Can't argue with you there. See? I told Dutch you weren't the right man for this. I'm sure you did.
You alright?
I think so.
Come on. Hopefully this will lead us out.
I love John so much.
Look up there.
Every time I have a discussion with somebody about Red Dead 2 characters, they're always like, oh, Arthur. And don't get me wrong, I like Arthur. Don't get me wrong, Arthur's great. He's a great character. Like, I love him. Don't get me wrong, he's fantastic. Me personally, I have a preference for John. I'm just saying. Woo! Okay, let's go.
Okay, let's get going before more of these bastards show up.
I think cause like, I think majority of people who like, you know, I don't know. It's hard for me to explain. I think that we got a lot of new people, like interested in the Red Dead franchise, after Red Dead 2 came out. I think like not a lot of people started with the first Red Dead Redemption. They started with 2, which is fine and fair, you know. It's a prequel, so ideally you'd start with 2 and then move into the original one. But either way, because I did it and I started with Red Dead Redemption, I just have more of an attachment to John than I do Arthur.
Not yet.
You guys gotta keep talking to him. He's gonna, like, he's dozing off. Oh shit. Oh my god, we are riding up on his ass.
More coming in on the left. Get the hell out of here.
Get out of here. He's so eepy.
You see any more, Arthur?
Don't think so.
The man's is eepy. He's eepy and he needs his leavey.
Just about.
You're gonna be okay. Have some shelter now.
Thanks for coming for me.
Of course.
You're
Bullet
welcome.
in Blackwater, now this. You had a hell of a time.
Arthur always says I'm lucky.
None of us are lucky right now. Should ride in the water for a bit. Try to lose a scent. Don't want to leave a trail right back to camp.
You know, we're gonna need to come up with a better story for that scar. So, freezing, bleeding, starving, damn near getting eaten to death ain't good enough for you.
Here, let's cross to the left.
Yeah, come on. Let's push hard and get back.
See those
It's
buildings
getting
to the
dark.
right, John? That's where we camped. Nearly there. Come on! Someone help John down off this horse.
Can we get some help here?
Oh, my nose itches.
Can we get some help? We need some help here.
Come on, help him down.
You're alive! You're alive!
Here we go. There we go. Ay, careful, idiotas! It's his leg.
Oh, come on, let's get you warm. Thank you both. This is a new low, even by your standards.
Thank you, Arthur.
Thank you. Got any other lost maidens?
I
need
can't.
saving?
That fucking kills me.
Not today.
Have you and Dutch talked about how we're gonna get out of this?
I was just discussing with Herr Strauss when the weather breaks. Suppose we'll have to keep heading east.
East? Into all that... That's civilization.
I know. The west is where our problems are worse. Come on, Herr Strauss, let's get warm.
Thank you, Mr. Morgan.
I can't. She goes 1 minute. She's like, "Oh my God, I'm so happy you're alive." And then, like, as soon as we know that he's safe,
Running for weeks.
she goes, "I can't believe you."
Shelter and been resting here.
I can't
in some
believe
old
this.
abandoned mining town while
This
we
is a
wait
new
for
low
fall.
for you.
Hardly the spring I had been hoping for.
Look at that. All right. Before we start the next one, we got an ad break coming up, so we're gonna go ahead and run that before we start the next mission, just to go ahead and get it out of the way. Yeah, I don't know. I think this seems like a pretty good plan. I'm so happy you're alive. I love you so much. You're a goddamn idiot. To be fair, though, I think we're all like that, you know? We worry about our loved ones, and then as soon as we know that they're safe, we're like, what the fuck were you thinking? Where was your head at, boy? Alright, anyways, I'm gonna take a BRB, run an ad break, and then when I return, we shall, continue the story. You said, what? Who the naughty treasure chest that deserves to be punished? Oh my God. No, hit me, damn it. Did somebody clip it? If not, I can. You guys are just gonna get double of my voice. But I mean, really, who gets tired of my voice? Who gets tired of my voice? Never, never. Oh, you can't see it until... can't see it. I'm winning. Oh, shit.
Core me, Daddy.
This is so cool.
That's my favorite phrase now. I'm gonna go up to Travis and I'm gonna tell him, "Core me, Daddy." Mushroom the size of a lamb. What you've already told this. You've already said this to me. Why are you saying it again?
Ah, Anus forever, my loyal subject. Your devotion pleases me. Spread a chaos far and wide. Create mischief wherever you go, and remember to have lots of fun along the way. Embrace the corgi way of chaos, devilish face.
Oh. Fuck me sideways. I'm wondering if it's a setting that you can turn on and off, like if there can be duplicates.
Oh, Anus forever, you know just how to please me. Yes, 1,000 times yes. I would love some chicken nuggets. Corgis and chicken nuggets are a match made in chaos heaven. Poultry leg. Yes, murder mother with money.
my god, this is chaos. I'm gonna die. Oh shit. I forgot that I tried to color those for something else entirely. What? No. Listen, we can talk this out. We can talk it out. We can talk. Hey, bud. Listen. This is all just a mistake. This is all just a big mistake. Alright, I'm back, gamers. Okie dokie. Excuse me, big yawn. Alrighty, let's get back into it.
We get warm.
I think we're gonna do the Pearson quest first, just because I prefer Pearson quest. Yes, I know, I gotta continue playing to unlock my bonus content. You don't have to tell me twice. Mr. Pearson?
We're gonna starve to death up here, Mr. Morgan.
No, we're not.
We're okay. We have a few cans of food and a rabbit. For what, 10, 12 people? When I was in the Navy...
I do not wish to hear about what you got up to in the Navy, Mr. Pearson.
We were stranded at sea for 50 days.
And you unfortunately survived.
When we ran away from Blackwater, I wasn't able to get supplies in.
Well, when government agents are hunting you down, sometimes shopping trips need to be cut short. We'll survive. We always have. If needs be, we can eat you. You're the fattest.
I sent Lenny and Bill hunting, and they found nothing.
Well, Lenny's more into book learning than hunting. Bill's a fool. Unless those mountains are full of game that want to read, ain't no wonder they found
Enough of this. We'll go find something. Come on, Arthur.
Wait a second. Hold on. Here. You're gonna need something to eat out there.
Assorted, salted offal. Starving will be preferable.
Come on, let's go.
You can't go hunting. Look at your hand.
I can't stay here listening to you two. Look, if there's game in those hills, I'll find it. And you can kill it.
You need to rest, Charles.
You think this is a rest? Come along.
Hey Siri, what's salted offal?
Here.
Here's what I found.
I can't use it, and you'll have to.
Oh, gross.
Joking. Use a gun, and we'll scare off
It's
every animal
innards.
miles around. You're never too old to learn, I imagine. All right, let's head out.
If you're not eating offal, you're missing out. Oh my god. Originally named after garbage, or literally the part of the animal that would fall off when butchered, the offal cuts of meat have, hands down, the worst PR in history. But don't be fooled by the name. Offal can be ridiculously delicious, and when prepared properly, is a downright decadent treat. If you didn't grow up eating innards, follow this entry-level guide, and you'll come to see how offal isn't awful at all. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm good. I think I'm good. I don't think I want to eat any animal innards. I'll stick to my like cuts of meat.
How are you holding up, Charles?
I'm okay, apart from this hand. Stupid mistake.
Still bad?
It'll be fine in a day or two. I just can't pull a bow right now.
I sure hope I can. Never really got the hang of it.
You'll be fine.
So, you reckon we're gonna
want to find something to kill, it ain't no Driscoll.
Huh. There's meat up here for sure. Pearson doesn't know what he's talking about. Now the weather's eased off a bit, they'll be needing to feed.
This is my favorite. This is one of my favorite missions in the game. It's very good. I like hunting a lot.
Been a wild few days, all right.
That's why the trader role in online is my favorite, because I just enjoy hunting.
Bringing John back in.
You've had a lot put on you. I wish I could have done more.
I didn't mean it like that. Just a lot to think back on.
I still don't really know what happened on that boat.
Me neither. Well, Javier told me a bit, but it sure weren't good.
It sure weren't good. I love that Rockstar like learned from all the mistakes they like in Red Dead, in Red Dead 1 and fixed them in Red Dead 2. Especially when it comes to the horses. The horses, if you go back and look at them in Red Dead Redemption, like in the original Red Dead, like, oh man. Oh man, they're rough. They're rough looking horses. And they do so much, like, they do a much better job with the horses in this game.
There's some patches of grass here. This is good. Come on, let's try this way. Keep your eyes peeled for movement. The wind's died down too.
That's good.
No wind at all is bad, but if it's too strong, they won't move. Now shh, stay quiet.
Which is good. I'm like, it's great. It's fantastic. They did such a good job.
Stop here a second. I see something.
Horses are like my favorite animals, so to see them done so well in this game is fantastic. Oh, I can't grab the... I guess...
In here. Recently.
How can you tell?
Yeah.
Let's walk it from here. You're gonna need the bow. Don't leave it on your horse. A gun will scare everything around. Quiet as you can. Stay low.
Sorry. I'm sorry, Taima. I'm sorry.
You see the tracks?
No.
I think so. Maybe not.
Focus. It's easier in the snow, but once you get your eye in, you'll be able to track nearly as well in grass and woods.
Oh my god. Somehow I'm not surprised.
Down there. You see him? Are you ready with that bow? Try to hit him in the neck or head. Quick and clean. Get good tension on the string before releasing.
God damn it, my stamina. Arthur's stamina is so low.
Now, Arthur.
Ah, I'm trying. Arthur's stamina is just so freaking low. I can't get it to freaking focus because his stamina's so low. Camera's wobbling everywhere.
Good shot. Now let's try for another.
Oh shit. I didn't know we were trying for another. Whoops. There's 2 across the river over there. There's another one downstream too, I think. Unless that's just the tracks from the other 2. We'll see though once we get up to the top of this hill. Yeah, I think that's just tracks from a different animal.
Got it. Well done. I think that's all we can carry.
Okay, you pick up one, I'll get the other. You sure your hand's okay?
It'll be fine once I get it on my shoulder.
Alright, there we go. Come on, horse. They won't see, yeah, they won't see me behind this tree.
I'm gonna get this packed on my horse.
There we go.
Pretty good hunt, boy. Ready to head back when you are.
Sure. I just need to finish up here.
I don't know how this deer stays on this horse. Miraculously. By some magic, like, I don't know.
Come on then. Let's head back.
Whoa!
Nice work, Arthur. Should be enough meat here to keep us all fed for a few days.
You found him.
I knew you'd be okay with that bow.
It's easier when they ain't shooting back.
We've seen enough of that.
Considering how things were looking a couple of days back, well, maybe our luck is finally on the turn.
Seems to me we should be putting our effort into getting off this mountain now.
Soon. People are still weak, and well, you've seen how snowed in those wagons are. They ain't going nowhere until we get some more thaw.
You're probably right. And even if we do get off here, what then? We still have a big price on our heads.
This is a big country. We'll find somewhere to lie low. Dutch and Jose will have a plan.
They always got a plan.
You notice how Pearson's had a bottle in his hand ever since we fled Blackwater? We give the camp cook 5 minutes to grab the essentials and go.
Why do I feel like the music is so much louder than the dialogue? Because it is. Jeez. I was sitting here wondering, like, God damn, you can barely hear him over the fucking music. Why is it so... Why is it so loud? There we go.
He doesn't even bring a crumb of food.
Good that we caught more than one.
Don't get me wrong, I love the score, but goddamn.
That girl from the ranch now, too. But
I want to hear what they're saying.
not sure she'll be eating much.
She has a wild look in her eye.
You would, too. She lost her husband, her home, everything she had.
So what do we do with her?
Once we get out of here and we're back on our feet, we'll see. She might have family somewhere.
So it was O'Driscoll's you ran into there?
Yeah. Last thing we was expecting.
What is it with the O'Driscolls?
You ain't dealt with them? I suppose. Hell, we ain't run into them much the last 6 months. I guess because they've been over this way.
Yeah. I've heard a lot of talk about them.
Well, we've been scrapping over scores with them for years. Big gang. Nasty sons of bitches.
Hell yeah.
Their leader, Combe, and Dutch go way back. And not in a good way. A proper blood feud.
So I heard.
I think it died in Blackwater.
Watch out! Bear up ahead. Let's see if we can find another way around.
He's got a lot of meat on him.
We've got enough here. No need to push our luck. You must be real hungry. Stay well back. Spring storms like this are the worst for animals that sleep all winter.
All right, here we go.
Cut up here, off the trail.
With what? I don't have space on my horse to be carrying bear shit. When you get a bear, they roll that shit up into a log and you gotta stow it on the horse the same way you stow a deer.
We never talked that much, you and me. How long you been with us now? 5, 6 months?
Something like that.
Bet you didn't expect this.
What?
Any of this. Blackwater mess. Being up here?
Sooner or later, a job's gonna go wrong. Nature of life.
I just thought you might have moved on by now.
You want me to move on?
No. No, not at all. I know you could run it alone, no problem.
I did that for a long time. I'm done with it. Always
Hell
wondering
yeah.
if someone's gonna kill you in your sleep.
I still wonder that most nights.
I reckon you're okay.
Oh, watch it.
This suits me. Sure, I could fall in with another gang, but Dutch. You know, Dutch is different.
Dutch
Oh,
is
yes.
different.
Dutch is certainly different.
Uh-huh.
He treats me fair. Most of you do. And for a fellow with a black father and an Indian mother, that ain't normally the case.
Well, we need you now. More than ever.
Good. And how long have you been with these boys? Why ain't
Ow.
you run off?
Me?
19 months, let's go! Thank you, Dracula, for resubscribing. I appreciate
Since I
it.
was a boy.
20 years.
Oh, hi, thanks for checking in. I'm still a piece of
Whoa,
garbage.
Shakalaka01. 19 months of awesomeness. That's incredible. Nanaru 2 Foxable would be thrilled. Let's keep the good times rolling and make even more unforgettable memories together. Asterisk M.
That's why we need to stick by him through this.
It's going well. It's going well.
He always
I got
Shakalaka01 for the incredible 19 months of support. That's amazing. Let's continue to make awesome memories together on stream. Sending lots of love and tail wags your way. Asterisk M.
appreciate you letting me take time the other night.
She's a strong one. It's been as hard on the horses as on the rest of us.
I had a whole train of thought and I was gone.
If something happened to the Count.
Same with Bill and Brown Jack. He's a drunk, miserable bastard, but he loves that horse.
I had a whole train of thought. Now I'm dead.
I tried to ride the Count once.
Anyway, stream's going good. I recently got a copy of Red Dead 2 for my PC because it was like heavily on sale. Heavily on sale. And I couldn't pass it up. So, we're running through the storyline for my PC save now. Right? Ah, we love sales. Sales are great, man.
Food back, boys!
I love, like, Steam sales. Steam sales are great.
Come on, let's get these over to Pearson. Thank you for showing me how to use the bow properly.
I only showed you a little. Takes a lifetime of practice to master.
Alright, Pearson, here you go.
Well.
You wanted food? I got you
What
food.
a surprise. Find a camp rat loitering around in the kitchen.
Is that any way to greet an old friend? I feel like we haven't spoken for days.
I do my utmost to avoid you.
He loves me, really. It's his sad way of showing affection.
No, it isn't. Now shoot, get lost.
Well, see you gents later.
See, you got on just fine. Charles is a wonder.
Have a drink, boys.
You earned it. Jesus, what is that?
Navy rum, sir. It's the only thing. The only thing. Keeps you sane, it does.
Yes, seems to have done a treat on you. You go rest that hand, Charles.
I'll be fine in a few days.
You mind helping me with the skinning, Mr. Morgan? It's easier if we do it together.
Do I get to skin you?
You're always one with the jokes, aren't you? Come on.
This really isn't a job for a man with a burnt hand. I'll see you both later.
You skin that one that you dumped on the floor there.
Okay. Look away! Avert your eyes, children! Actually, if there's any children here, I question why you're here. Get out. Oh, shoot.
They always said you were a butcher. You know, you could trade these or sell these in pretty much any town. If you're looking to make a legitimate bit of money, of course.
Right now, I'm just looking to get off this mountain alive.
Well, if you catch anything else, you bring it to me.
Sure.
Thank you, Mr. Morgan. Heck, Arthur Morgan's first decent bit of hunting.
Oh, hi. Thanks for
After
checking
all
in. I'm
these years.
still a piece of garbage.
Run now. Everyone's got to do their bit to
Hey, for
survive.
checking in. I really appreciate it.
Good
Hi,
stew.
Diesel.
Folk need it.
Sorry, I'm chewing on some trail mix. Look at that. Alright. Now let's go do the Bill quest.
Oh, with you boys, because I thought you liked action. Couple of days on the lam, and you lot have all turned yellow. Apart from you, of course.
Shut up, Micah.
I ain't never seen so many long faces. I guess folks miss them. That fell. But when I fall, I don't want no fuss.
When you fall, there'll be a party.
Party. Probably. That funny, huh? Sure. I don't feel like being laughed at by the likes of you two.
Stop it! Now! You fools punching each other when Como Driscoll's needing punching hard. You want to sit around waiting for him to come find us? All of you, we got work to do. Come on.
Are you sure about this, Dutch?
Yes.
No.
Folks been through a lot recently. We hardly back on our feet yet.
And the last thing we need is to get bushwhacked by Como Driscoll.
Leonard!
Let's go.
I know you hate him, Dutch.
He's here for us.
I doubt that.
No, you're just doubting me.
I would
Hey!
never doubt you, Dutch. You always said revenge is a luxury we can't afford.
This is the right call, Arthur. Take this. And this is about more than revenge for business long ago. They were talking about trains.
Yeah.
Detonators.
Trains, detonators.
Colm always had good information. Come on.
And you think now is the right time to hit a train.
Now you might
I'm glad
fancy
you
living
like
on
it.
deer piss and rabbit shit. I'm getting too old for that life. Mr. Matthews, Mr. Smith, Mr. Pearson, would you please look after the place? There are O'Driscolls about. Yeah!
Here we go, gamers.
Southwest, right, Arthur?
Yeah. He said follow the main trail
Bro,
southwest.
bro.
They're camped near
Travis yesterday.
Okay.
Travis got me some sesame chicken yesterday. Okay. Never in my life have I ever had sesame chicken that has been spicy. But holy shit. The sesame chicken is spicy.
What's that? Tracks. Horses, quite a few of them. As far as I can tell, the only
Like, I'm
fools
just
out
trying to
here
finish
are
my
us and
I'm
them.
trying to finish my dinner,
They
yo,
must
and I
be
can't
this
because
way.
it's so fucking spicy.
You good, Dutch?
No.
Of course. Listen, I know you don't think much of my ideas recently, but this is the right move.
Okay. You know I got your back.
I learned a long time ago that you hit Colm O'Driscoll. Wait for him, and people you love will die.
This feud between you and him needs to be put to rest, one way or another.
I mean, it's good. It's good sesame chicken. It's just fucking spicy.
Others I can't forget. What he did to Hannibal, I can't do neither.
You killed his brother, Dutch.
Yes, I did. And I hope the bastards will be reunited soon enough. That's
Woo.
how this'll end.
Damn right, boss.
See that smoke? Let's cut up here and take a look. They said it was near the lake, so we must be close.
Could you imagine, having such a beef with somebody that, like, you actively want them dead? I just couldn't. Oh, man.
Hold up here. Hold. Ah!
Oh, shit.
All right,
Sorry.
gentlemen. This is it.
Yeah.
Are we goddamn ready?
Yeah.
Good. Now, Mr. Morgan and I, we're gonna head up here a little, see if we can't get a sense of the layout of the camp. Mr. Williamson, Mr. Bell.
Do I need to get back on my horse?
You two take up a hidden position just outside the camp. Mr. Summers, Mr. Escuela, you two hold
I know.
position here. Let's go.
Okay, I do need to get off my horse. All right. Come on, Dutch. Come on, work those joints. Oh, wait, no, we're going this way. Never mind. I thought we were going further up.
There they are. That's definitely them.
Home?
I think so.
Yeah, that's him.
Oh, damn, deviled eggs.
Who's he talking to? He don't seem very happy.
No.
They leaving?
Seem to be. Should we go get them?
No. Cone can wait. Best to get some of them out of there. And much less fun to rob him and his score if he never finds out about it. Come on, let's get down there.
Alright, let's go. Let's go rob this man.
Don't forget to grab that rifle from your horse.
I won't. I'm going to get it. As soon as the game lets me run.
You two, get up there and keep us covered.
Sure thing.
Good. Come on, let's go.
Yep.
Seems easiest to take the same path down as Bill and Micah. Like you said, revenge is a luxury we can't afford.
Yeah, just wasn't sure you agreed with me.
Arthur, have you completely lost faith in me? Our needs right now are supplies, equipment, and a way out of here. Everything else, including Combe, can wait.
Okay.
There's enough of those bastards down there to deal with as it is. Now, come on.
I'm not sure which, like, specific video you're talking about, but I definitely have watched video, like, I've watched similar videos of that style, if you will. Okay, oh my god, Dutch, you're taking way too fucking long. Move. Move, Dutch, you're taking too long.
It's steep here. Careful.
Who took my tobacco? It was here 5 minutes ago.
Maybe I should take the lead on this. They're going to be gunning for you.
They ain't got me yet.
No, but the way our luck's been running.
Hush. Let's just get down there first. Down through these trees, quick.
That's not what I wanted. There we go.
Stay low. Come on, follow me.
All right, finally made it down here. Oh my god. It took forever for us to get down the mountain. I'm just saying.
Okay, let's get in cover.
So, what are we doing, Dutch? I can take this if you want.
Just make the call. You want to take the lead? Go. We don't have time to debate this.
Okay, I'll go first.
So why'd they let you go? Why wouldn't have...
O'Driscoll! You're dead, you sons of bitches!
God damn it. Why does it take so long for the thing to...
I'm moving up! Put some fire behind me!
With Arthur, let's go!
Oh, I couldn't even see that guy. Oh, I couldn't even see him. Oh, there he is. Ah, you bastard. Just wait till I reload. Oh, hat shot.
I think that's all of them!
Search the bodies! Strip everything we can from them!
Alrighty.
You recognize any of them, Dutch?
Of course.
I'm just saying that guy, that shot I got in the with the guy in the cabin, that was slick. I couldn't see that guy at all. I just knew that he was like kind of over there. Damn, that was a good shot. I'm just saying. I'm not one to give myself praise very often, but damn.
Oh shit! Look out! More of the bastards coming out of the trees!
Could probably move up. Damn fucking pole in the way.
Shit, there's a lot of them. What do you
Are
think,
there?
Arthur? Do we hold ground here or go after them?
Defend.
We're better holding here. All right, now, kick them off as they come out of the trees. Don't lose them in the trees.
Trying not to. It's hard to see him though. Well, too far. Reload. What the fuck, Micah? I keep missing, oh my god. There we go, okay. Anyways. I'm sorry. The I will shit on your dead body fucking got me. Oh, that was funny. This is so out of pocket. It's like, what the, like, who says shit like that? Oh my god.
We don't have time to mess around.
Bro, you wanted me to loot them. I'm looting them.
We're waiting on you. Arthur.
Okay, okay. What?
Good work, boys. Now, let's tear this place apart.
Okay. That's literally, you could have told me that while I was looting.
Mike, search that building. Arthur, you take that building to the left. All right, man, quick. Find those detonators, explosives, anything you can. Let's go.
Alright, give me 1 second. I'm still looting. Oh, there he is. I was like, where the fuck is he? Alright. I think we got it. We got most of them. I think that's pretty good. Let's get over here so we can get this thing.
Here. This looks good. What do you think, Bill?
Well, looks fine. Smells good.
Come on.
How can you tell if it,
Did
like...
we get everything?
Think so, boss? Found this on one of them.
Thank you.
This is perfect.
Oh, yeah. Interesting. This is something about the train they was gonna rob. Of Mr. Leviticus Cornwall. Mount back
And
up.
this is...
Let's keep moving.
Never mind, I'm not gonna say that. The spoilers.
All right, let's get out of here. Proud of you boys. All of you. Not a man down.
Good work, fellers.
Not bad for some starving down and outs. They can pummel us hard as they like. But we will always get back up.
I'm gonna be up here with Dutch. I'm second in command.
Outlaws for life, fellas. Wait until we have John, Mac, Charles, and Sean back riding with us, and I believe
Look at how shiny the Count's fur is. Like, holy fuck.
Well, you didn't get combed, but this head'll hurt him a lot more than any bullet in the head.
Especially when we rob this train, too.
Yeah, I guess we'll see about that.
Oh, indeed we will.
The Count's fur is so shiny.
You know, he'll come after us.
Oh, of course he will, just like all the rest. But we're gonna stay a step ahead of them. Make sure we always know where they are before they know where we are. We allowed ourselves to get a step behind in Blackwater. That won't happen again. All right, dig in, fellas. Let's make some ground. Hey, you see that fella? Wasn't he at the camp with Colm?
Leave him to me.
All right. We're heading back. Just bring him back alive. He could be useful.
Okay, you got it.
Come here, boy. Where you running to, boy? You better get back here.
Go. There, boy.
Come here, boy.
No, you don't. You're coming with me.
You got me mixed up with someone else.
Do I now? Actually, hold on. Before I put you on my horse really quick, just
Please, please, you don't need to do this.
what you got in
Hi,
them
thanks
pockets?
for checking in. I'm still a piece of garbage.
Very kind of you.
Oh, man had $1 in his pocket. Sure you're not.
What's your name, boy?
I don't know.
You don't know your name?
It's Kieran.
Kieran what?
Duffy. Kieran Duffy.
Well, I ain't gonna lie to you. This is a real bad day for you, Kieran Duffy.
Where are you taking me?
Somewhere you ain't gonna like.
Why? What are you gonna do to me?
Something you ain't gonna like. So I'd advise you to save your breath for screaming.
No, please.
Hi, Mom.
Yeah, good boy.
I'm no use to you.
I don't think that's true, Kieran Duffy.
I hardly know him.
You better shut your mouth, you little shit, or I will shut it for you.
How far are we from the camp? Jesus.
Come on, just name your price. Have a heart, mister. Just let me go, please.
Are you trying to test me? Is that it? Because I will break every bone in your body.
I'm sorry. Okay?
Not one more goddamn word. Am I clear?
Okay.
That's 2 bones.
Right there.
Whoa, food.
No. Not food.
Huh?
It's not food.
Oh, it's not food?
It's not food.
Oh, it is food. I feel so gaslit right now. Huh?
I'll light my gas.
Here we are.
What?
Sack of
That's
shit.
just gross.
Let's introduce you to the boys.
Ah, what is that? What is on my head?
The hat.
I don't think it is a hat. Oh, that's... Jesus, that's heavy. That's a lot of weight to put on my neck.
Don't hurt me, please.
Oh, don't worry. They're real nice.
You found a little shit, did you?
Yeah.
Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah.
Very good. Welcome to your new
Rub your
home.
head now.
Okay,
you're
have a good
real
time.
happy
Magic.
Will do.
You want me to make him
Thank
talk?
you.
Oh, no, now all we'll get is lies. Uncle, Mr. Williamson, tie this maggot up
Yummy.
someplace safe. We get him hungry first. I got a saying, my friend. We shoot fellas as need shooting, save fellas as need saving, and feed 'em as need feeding. We are gonna find out what you need. I can't believe it! An O'Driscoll in my camp!
I ain't an O'Driscoll, mister. I hate that fella.
Oh, whatever you say, son. Well done, Arthur.
I'm
I
just
did it.
sorry we missed out on Colm.
Oh, there's time enough for that. Now, I gotta figure out if we can hit that train.
Okay.
I did it. A few days later.
It's been a bad few weeks, but Dutch being Dutch, he is busy making plans, and Dutch being Dutch, those plans involve robbery and dreams.
Who the hell is
Well, I thought
Leviticus
you was
Cornwall?
reading him his last rites. Now I see you're introducing him to your other passion.
I'll mind you to show me some respect, Mr. Morgan.
Mind away, Reverend. You still here then?
I owe you.
Yeah. And you'll pay me. But for the moment, just rest.
Arthur, I think it's time for the train.
Want me to come?
Of course I do, but look at you.
I was always ugly, Dutch. It's just a scratch.
Don't lie still, son. Hello, Abigail.
Dutch,
Jackie.
the boy wanted to see you, John.
He's seen me now. Or what's left of me. What about you?
Guess I was hoping to see a corpse.
Bide your time. You'll see plenty of them.
You're a rotten man, John Marston.
He is an idiot, Abigail. We all know it. Now, railway men. Now, you ride ahead and set the charge at the water tower just before the tunnel.
Ain't a problem. Why are we doing this? Weather's breaking. We could leave. I thought we was lying low.
Yeah, come on. What do you want from me, Hosea?
I just don't want any more folks to die, Dutch.
We're living,
Yeah.
Hosea. We're living. Look at me. We're living. Even you. But we need money. Everything we has in Blackwater. You fancy heading back there?
No. Listen, Dutch, I ain't trying to undermine you. I just want to stick to the plan, which was to lie low, then head back out west. Now, suddenly we're about to rob a train.
What choice have we got?
Leviticus Cornwall's no joke, Dutch.
Who is?
I mean, we couldn't get normal jobs.
Railway magnate,
Like-
sugar dealer,
like
old
normal
man.
people.
Well, how good for him. Sounds like he has more than enough to share.
Dutch!
Gentlemen, it is time to make something of ourselves. Get your horses ready. We have a train to rob. All right.
But where's the fun in that? Yeah, that's true.
Okay, gentlemen, listen up, all of you. According to the information so kindly provided to us by the O'Driscolls, the train will be coming north from Big Valley. We're gonna pick it off after it crosses the border into the Grizzlies. There's a raised spot there that should give us good vantage. Charles, you'll keep lookout for any outriders. How's that hand, by the way?
I'll be fine.
Good. I'll take the driver and engineer, then run point. Lenny and Javier, you two take the front cars, deal with any guards. Arthur and Micah, you head straight for the back. That's what we're after. Mr. Cornwall's private car.
You and me, Morgan. Great. Have you got a problem with that?
Not if you keep your head for once.
You worry about yourself, huh?
Enough! After Bill blows the tracks, we're gonna need to move fast. Is everyone clear on what they're doing?
Yeah.
Crystal.
Yes, boss. Good. Now come on. Let's ride.
Look at us. Look at us. Look at us. We look so cool.
Out in the snow, finally.
Feels good, doesn't it? But we need to get this done fast. Now it's thawing, before anyone gets up here after us. Oh, look at you boys. See? This is what I call a crew. Micah Bell, Charles Smith, Arthur Morgan, Javier Escuela, and what about young Lenny here? Always the first man on his horse.
Just happy we're back at him, Dutch.
You sure you're ready for this, kid?
Of course I'm ready.
Just stay calm. Keep your eyes sharp. That goes for all of you. No mistakes. Not again.
Then we go
Yeah.
back to Blackwater to collect.
How many times you gonna ask the same question, Micah?
That's a lot of damn money to leave sitting for too long.
It would be crazy to go back there now. The place will be swarming with Pinkertons.
We go back when I say we go back, and that's the end of it. The money's safe. You'll just have to trust me. And if the O'Driscolls are right, there'll be a stack of railroad bonds on this train. Good money. Once we work
Good
out how to
money.
cash them. Now everyone, shut up and get your mind on the job at hand. Come on.
No, no, no. Micah doesn't get to be in front of me.
Hold up here on the ridge.
Micah, you sack of shit. You don't get to be behind me. Or you don't get to be in front of me. You bitch.
Is Bill there?
Yeah,
You want to head down? See how he's getting on?
okay.
Whoa!
Bill. Mr. Williamson.
How you getting on?
Yeah. I'm okay.
You sure?
Of course.
Can I help a little?
All right. Go ahead and set up the detonator by those rocks over there.
Okay, sure.
Now just unspool the wire and then attach it to said detonator.
Where are we going? Oh, there we go. We're over there. All right. Oh, the audio design. Ugh, it's so good.
Okay, this is good.
All right. That should do it. You head back up to the others. I got it from here.
Watch this shit. Shut up, Micah. Nobody asked you.
Ready to move quick, and remember the plan. All of you, no mistakes. What's going on?
He says all fine.
We'll soon find out.
Everything okay?
I think so.
Okay, cover your faces. Train should be here any...
Where is it? There we go. Here we go. Here we go, gamers. Yeah.
It's time.
Yep, sure is.
Good luck, all of you. You all know what to do.
Here we go. Shit! No! What? God!
Oh, you have got to be...
Oh my God! Bill, you...
It was fine.
Come on!
You stupid idiot, Bill. You're so stupid.
Here we go.
Whee! Oh, shit. Damn, Javier. Oh, Lenny. Lenny.
I've got you. Now stop yelling.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit.
You're okay. Now, let's go slow this thing down.
Where's Javier?
He fell. The others will get him.
Let's go.
Come on, we need to stop this train.
Hang on, wait. We gotta...
You want me to take him?
Yes, you go.
Okay. Hey! We moving up? Oh, shit, we got...
Not let them stop this train.
We best get up there! Shouldn't we push up?
You all right?
Yeah, I'm good.
What is wrong with you boys? Kill 'em!
Make peace with your maker, boy.
You son of a bitch. Just make
I'm
it.
going up. We have to stop this train.
How you doing there?
I'm okay. If we don't stop this train
we go. Skirt!
Look out! Got more coming off the train.
There better be some money at the end of this.
All these bastards.
Why is it?
We need the car at the back, right?
Yep, keep pushing on.
Good shot, Lenny. Holy fuck.
Still okay?
I think so.
Good.
Damn, he's got an arm. Who is this guy?
Doing good, kid.
Shoot him.
Where the hell are the others?
I don't know.
You're not getting out of here.
Oh, shit.
Bro, I capped that man in the head.
We're gonna get out of this.
Oh, I know we
I
are.
capped that man in the head and he still came out running.
There's still more coming off the train.
All right. Finish those sons of bitches.
I think they're getting him.
I can see now why the O'Driscolls brought so many boys up here for this.
Arthur, get over here.
Yes. Yes, Dutch.
You two all right?
Yep.
Yes, let's get the money and go.
We got some fellas holed up in this last car.
Ah, shit.
What are you boys planning on doing in there? Listen to me. We don't want to kill any of you. Any more of you. I give you my word, but trust me, we will.
I work for Leviticus Cornwall.
Come on, boys.
We got our orders.
Okay. You asked for it.
We ain't
5,
opening this door.
4, 3, 2, 1. Seems our friends have gone deaf. Wake them up a little. That's enough. Mr. Williamson, give Mr. Morgan and Mr. Smith some dynamite. You two boys go blow that door open. Now, don't matter too much to us, but you boys in there might want to take a step back.
Seems good enough. Now light the fuse.
Here we go.
Unless you got a death wish, I'd step back, fellers.
All right, come on. Just walk up here. We don't want to kill you. We just want to rob your boss. Get on up there. Search that train.
Hey, fuck you, Micah. Move.
Look at this place. It's like a palace.
Now I've seen everything. Oh, you two got the safe? I'll search the rest.
Oh, yes. Should be easy as cake.
What's this?
You're just gonna stand there, kid. Pour me some brandy, will ya? I'm parched.
Shut up.
Dear Mr. Cornwall, we are yet to receive payment of $2,000 for the initial phase of exploration at the Wapiti Indian Reservation, Amberino, as agreed in the contract between Cornwall Kerosene and Tar and the Leland Oil Development Company, dated November 9, 1898. On receipt of the funds, we will proceed with phases 2 and 3 of the project and present you with a detailed report of our findings in the next month. Yours, respectively, James Critchley. Okay. Oh, I didn't realize we had an ad break going. Hang on. Sorry, gamers. We'll take a quick, we'll take a BRB while this ad break runs, and then we'll continue when we get back. Shotgun anyways. Mushrooms. Alright, now we're gonna go find a gas station. Wow, thank you so. Why am I angry? Why am I angry? There we go. Thank you so much for subscribing. I really appreciate it. 18 months, super poggers. Hoggy Woggy. This enemy diva. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Beep, 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 beep. Oh god, oh my god, I got whiplash. Holy shit. Oh my god, I am so fucking dizzy. I can't do that again. I'm shotgun anyways. Mushrooms. Alright, now we're gonna go find a gas station. Wow, thank you so. Why am I angry? Why am I angry? There we go. Thank you so much for subscribing. I really appreciate it. 18 months, super poggers. Hoggy Woggy. Yeah. Oh god, okay, back up, back up, back up. That can happen? I didn't think you could have. Fuck me sideways. I'm wondering if it's a setting that you can turn on and off, like if there can be duplicates.
Oh, and us forever. You know just how to please me. Yes, yes, 1,000 times yes. I would love some chicken nuggets. Corgis and chicken nuggets are a match made in chaos heaven. Poultry leg.
You're pretty well known around these parts.
That makes sense, I suppose. I did grow up here. What about you? I've never seen you around before.
The name's Ankaloon, and I'm just here to fill a gap in the market. Is that not why you're here?
I'm looking for spices. I heard this was the best place to get some.
It is indeed. I can read, I promise. Alice, no. Shadows, yes. Where did they go? This way, that way, does it matter? Left, right, up, down. All mixed up thanks to the shadows. Nana, you might not like the message I'm gonna make Jugs say. Oh no. Oh god, alright, I'm gonna pause to do this kawaii voice.
You've got a friend in me. You've got a friend in me. You have troubles, well, I got 'em too. There isn't anything I wouldn't do for you. We stick together and see them through, 'cause you've got a friend in me.
You're welcome. Here you go. I bow. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Okay, sorry about that, gamers. Alright. Now we can get back to it. I didn't realize we had an ad break coming up like that.
Shit. Just a pile of papers.
Alright, what's this?
I don't think so. Here. Make yourself useful. At least we all know you can read. Give me those.
Alright, dear Leviticus, thank you for your telegram and your continued interest in the Jameson Mining Company. However, any news you have received of mismanagement or financial difficulties at the mine in Annisburg are simply fake, and I would urge you to question your sources.
A lot of sugar?
The coal industry is quite different from the oil industry in a number of ways, so I certainly remain open to a business meeting at your convenience to exchange ideas and educate each other on our respective areas of corporate expertise. I would also be delighted to host you in Annisburg and give you a personal tour of the mine and its associated facilities. I look forward to your further correspondence. Yours sincerely, Archibald Jameson. Okie dokie.
Any luck, Arthur? Nothing much yet.
Alright.
Well, let's keep looking.
Goddamn O'Driscolls.
No, this looks like something.
These just seem to be contracts. Arthur, have you looked down the end there?
think I got him.
Nice. Well, thank God. Come on.
Hang on, I'm still searching.
Just waiting on you, Arthur.
I'm coming, I'm coming. Alright, I'm coming.
What did you find?
These bonds. They worth anything?
Oh, sure. Bearer bonds. I think we can probably sell these pretty easily. Well done. Now, would you get rid of all of this?
The train?
Yeah, get it out of here.
What about them?
What do you think?
I don't know.
It's up to you. Kill them, leave them here, take them with you on the train. Just make sure they don't send no folk after us.
Okay.
See you back at camp. When you get back, we'll be moving on. The rest of you, let's ride!
Okay. Get on the train. Quick. All of you. Any bright ideas, I kill all three of you. So behave. Come on. Move. If I hear so much as the footstep from this car, you'll end up like all your friends out here.
Get on the train.
Soul, I swear.
Said quick.
Run, 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 run. Come on, cardio, cardio, cardio. Oh my god, why is this train so long? Okay. There we go. Poggy Woggies. Poggy Woggies.
Oh, for Lord's sake, put that book away and go help. Oh, Mary Beth.
Hi Zero, how are you? Welcome to the stream. How are you doing?
We're gonna try. Weather seems stable.
And we just robbed the Leviticus Cornwall train.
We got money in our pockets. The worst is behind us,
Oh, hi.
gentlemen.
Thanks for
So the
checking in.
question
I'm
is,
still
where
a piece of
now?
garbage.
Thank you for checking in. I really appreciate it.
Camp in Horseshoe Overlook near Valentine. We'll be able to hide out
Oh
there,
boy.
no problem, as long
I
as
just
we
got
keep our
paid.
noses clean.
Well, then let's go. Clean noses and everything else. Arthur, you're in that one. Bring Hosea. I know you two like to talk about the good old days and what's gone wrong.
Game!
Yay! God, you know what you know what I'm gonna do after stream today? I'm gonna go back and watch the live performance from the Game Awards where they performed all those songs from the soundtrack for this game.
Me with the boy?
It was a couple years ago,
Come on,
but
kid. You can buy me a whiskey.
Hello, Juggers. What you doing, buddy? You being good?
Get us out the stream. Gotta keep us moving, but calm. Ah, shit. Okay, let's take a look.
You all right back there?
Does everything look all right?
Well, what's going on?
I broke the goddamn wheel.
All right, let's get it fixed.
You need help?
I reckon we can handle it. All right, Charles, you and me hold the thing up while you try and put the wheel back on, Arthur.
You still strong enough to hold up a wagon?
Shut up.
I'm just saying.
Well, say less.
We'll say less.
Nearly there. There.
See? You ain't so useless after all.
Not quite.
Get that nice and tight on there.
What do you think? If they wanted trouble, we wouldn't have seen them.
Poor bastards. We really screwed them over down here. Come on, let's not push our luck.
What happened?
Well, get in. I'll tell you. Not too far now. Stay on this trail. We'll follow the river, then cut left inland. So, yes.
Okay.
The Indians in these parts got sold a very raw deal. This is the heartlands we're going to. Good farming and grazing country, they lost it all. Stolen clean away from them it was, every blade of grass. Killed or herded up to the reservations in the middle of nowhere. Some of the army out
Hi,
here
Cone.
was particularly,
How are you? Welcome to stream. How you doing?
unpleasant about it.
Unpleasant? How do you rob and kill people pleasantly? We don't, in spite of Dutch's talk.
I fear I was perhaps trying to simplify something more complicated for the benefit of our block-headed driver here.
Damn. Why you gotta do me like that?
On me. Never forget. This
I
is
get
a
you.
con
Well, I
man,
hope you have a
Charles.
good night and get some good sleep.
Just 'cause
I
it
appreciate you
sounds
coming in.
fancy don't mean he knows a damn thing about what he's talking about.
Hey y'all! I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. Travis left to go play Magic,
What
but
happened to your tribe?
I'm here.
I don't even
I'm
know
play.
if I
We're
have
doing some Red Dead story today. It's fun. We're doing it. We're
My
pogging.
father was a colored man. He told me he lived with our people for a while. A number of free men did. But when we were forced to move from our lands, the three of us fled. I was too young to really remember much. My whole life I've been on the run. A couple
Oof,
years later,
poor
some
Charles.
soldiers captured my mother. Took her somewhere. We never saw her again. We drifted around. He was a very sad man, and the drink had a mean hold on him. Around 13, I just took off on my own.
That was about the age we found young Arthur here. Maybe a little older. A wilder delinquent you never did see. But he learned fast.
Not as fast as Marston, apparently.
Wait, I don't understand. What's the problem between you two?
Arthur?
It's a long story.
Yeah, long story.
Yep. We still heading the right way?
That depends.
Man, I sure hope
Still
so.
heading west in search of fortune and repose in virgin forests as we planned?
Sheesh.
No. Are we heading in the correct direction on our desperate escape from the law eastwards down the mountains? Yes, I believe so.
Hosea, you didn't have to be so snarky about it, man. It was just a simple question.
There's a livestock town not too far from here called Valentine. Cowboys, outlaws, working girls, our kind of place.
Driscoll's?
Probably
Driscoll's.
them too.
Pinkertons?
Let's hope not.
And this place we're going. Wait, but what's it called again?
Horseshoe Overlook.
It's a good place to lie low?
It'll do for now. And how low do you think Dutch is really going to lie? It's just,
Hopefully pretty low.
you know, maybe it's me who's changed, not him. But
Look, there's some wild
you kept
horsies.
telling him that ferry job didn't feel right. You and me had a real lead in Blackwater that could have worked out.
Maybe.
It just isn't like Dutch to lose his head like that.
Things go wrong sometimes. People die.
Look at him go.
It's the way it is. Always has been.
Uh-oh, they're on the road. We gotta get it. You guys gotta move. I don't want to run you over.
A long time. And we're still here, so I figure we must have got it right a hell of a lot more than we got it wrong. What are you working on there, anyway?
Just some yarrow and ginseng. Good for the health. Better than that stuff you buy in the store. Yeah, you can have all this. I'm at
Oh.
the point where I can do it with my eyes closed.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Jose. I appreciate that. That's very kind of you, sir. Let's hurry up and catch up with the others. I'm sure they're probably wondering where the hell we got off to at this point. Oh, I almost missed my turn. I think we're finally getting to the point where the game like actually really like opens up.
Follow the track for a bit.
Thanks.
Hey, slow up. I'll jump on.
Well, come on then.
Okay, let's go.
Everything's been pretty linear up to this point, so I think we're.
It went well.
I know, like after you get to Horseshoe Overlook, it opens up.
I think this will work for us, Arthur. For now, anyway.
I just don't know how far into Horseshoe Overlook.
Here we are, gentlemen. Home sweet home.
They got those tents set up real quick.
Wrong, Hosea. This place is perfect.
I hope so.
Gentlemen, we have survived.
For now.
Now, it is time to prosper.
Arthur and I were about to prosper in Blackwater. We were onto something big. Then Micah got you all excited about that ferry, and here we are.
We have all made mistakes over the years, Hosea. Every last one of us.
Yeah, you're
But
just
I
more willing
kept
to
us
forgive.
together, kept us alive, kept the nooses off our neck.
You're just more
guess
willing
I'm
to
just
forgive
I ain't got that long,
Micah's
Dutch. I
mistakes
want
than you
folks
are
safe
anybody
before I
else's,
go.
but
Me
you know,
too.
that's fine.
Now we're
Whatever.
stuck
I didn't say
east
anything.
of the Grizzlies and out of money, and a long way
Whoops,
from our
I'm making a
dream of
mess.
virgin land in the west.
I know, my brother, but we are safe. We make a bit of money here. Then we move again, head out around them, be west of Uncle Sam. In a few months, buy some land.
I hope so.
Would you just look around you? This world has its consolations.
Gentlemen, I'm going to head into the local town and, see if I can strike up a little business.
Of course, Herr Strauss. I prefer robbing banks to usury. Seems more dignified somehow. Now, everyone, put your tools down for a moment. Come on, gather round. Quickly now. I know that things have been tough, but we are safe now, and we are far too poor. So it is time for everyone to get to work.
Get to work, but stay out of trouble. Remember, we are itinerant workers.
Laid off when they shut down our factory to the north. Now get out there and see what you can find. Uncle, Reverend Swanson, no more passengers. It is time for everyone to earn their keep.
There is a town a little way down the track named Valentine. Livestock town, all mud and morons, if I remember right. That seems a decent place to start.
And, we need food. Real food. That means every day. One of you.
And remember, whatever it is that you find, the camp gets its slice. Now be sensible out there.
Now, the girls have your tent ready, Mr. Morgan. Come with me. You two will be ready shortly. We put you over here.
I'm sure everything will be fine, Miss Grimshaw.
It should be. Most of your stuff from Blackwater got saved.
Everything apart from my money.
Oh, don't remind me.
Money.
Well,
Money.
make more money.
We're gonna have
More money.
Miss Jackson, I've seen shit with more common sense than you. Do it properly.
I fucking love Miss Grimshaw. She's so fucking... She's so out of pocket sometimes. It's so fucking great. I love that shit. I live for that. I've seen more shit with common sense than you. Or I've seen shit with more common sense than you. God damn it, I fucked up her quote. I hate it here.
Got off the mountain.
Yes, we did.
Rode east into some pretty enough
That too.
country called the Heartlands.
Mm-hmm. Very pretty.
Been this far east in many a year.
Yep.
Dutch seems a little better.
A little bit.
His eyes are sparkling once more, and I can see he's thinking a little clearer.
Yeah.
I think we all feel a little happier.
I think anybody would be to get out of the snow.
That whole mess.
Blackwater was mess. You got that right.
Arthur?
Jose?
Quite a day.
Very nice day.
There's a bunch of the boys already in Valentine.
Brr.
Bill, Charles, and Javier. And Swanson found something down at the train station by the lake, apparently. And Strauss came back with that creepy little smile on his face. I'm sure there's a whole list of unfortunates he's forced money upon.
Strauss is creepy.
And you?
Strauss is very
I'm gonna
creepy.
read a book.
I'm gonna read a book. I'm gonna shave my face. Look at that beard. There we go. Alright, what we got here? Bring Pearson, yep. Oh. I forgot. I wanted to take the stuff that we got off of the train.
Hi. Good morning.
Oi. Good morning. I wanted to take the stuff we got off of Leviticus's train and put it in here. There we go. Yeah, good cowboy reputation. Alright, let me think. Javier's got a quest. I'm trying to remember what they all are. I don't think I'd want to do Reverend Swanson's quest. I guess we'll do Javier's. Where's Javier? In town? Yeah, he's in town. I really want to do, Hosea has a quest for getting a horse. But I think you have to do some quests before you unlock that quest. So, we're gonna start with Hosea's. My poor horse. My horse is filthy. Look how dirty my horse is. My horse is so dirty. What a dirty horse. Element cause a horse's stamina to drain. Yes, I know. I'm aware. Whoa, hello. Sorry there, sir. I didn't see you with your sheep. So much wildlife. Look at all the rabbits running around. Wild horses running everywhere. Actually, wait, those aren't wild horses.
I don't think you should just be wandering around here, friend.
You want trouble?
Not a thing happens round here without an O'Driscoll saying so. Understand me?
That's it. Off you trot.
We'll be sure to keep a bullet warm for you. Just listen. Right, down you go.
Fucking O'Driscolls. Anyways. This game's really pretty. If there's one thing I could say about this game, it's very pretty. Excuse me, gentlemen. Do 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 do. Nah, do 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 do. Man, what a bustling little city this is. Or city. This is not a city. This is a town. I'd say Saint Denis is closer to a city than Valentine is. Stranger missions. We're not doing any stranger missions. Oh, is this the fight? It might be. We'll see. I can hear Javier already. Look how dirty my poor horse is.
Alright, there we go. Oh, Arthur, come here. Come over here. I want you to meet our friends.
Pleased to meet you.
Well, ain't you just the toughest teak mountain man?
Oh, you be quiet, Anastasia. Anyone can tell this one is a pussy cat.
Exactly. Yes, he's a pussy cat. Ain't that so, Arthur?
Whatever you say. How much you cost, anyway?
Well, ain't that a nice way to talk to a lady?
Oh, I didn't know I was talking to a lady.
Excuse me.
Well, I must say, you got a fine way with the women, amigo.
Yeah, regular dandy and
Damn.
a charm. Where's Bill?
Oh,
Sheesh.
man. I dread to think
Sheesh.
about it. Hey.
Oh, there he is.
There he is.
Watch where you're going. Take it
Are you
easy,
about to
pal.
kiss that guy
Take
or
it
punch
easy,
him?
huh?
Oh, and we have our answer.
Oh, shit. Oh, fuck. What the hell, y'all? We can't go nowhere without causing some violence, apparently. Shit, I just came in for a drink. God damn it. Yeah, get out of here. Alright, come on. Yeah, get him. Yeah, get him. Oh, shit.
Come here, you little greaser. Let's do this.
Let go of me. Let go of me. Get off of me. Let go. Ah. Hang on. Oh shit. Fuck.
Come on, pretty boy. Pretty boy? You're kidding me. Pretty boy? I hope you got more than that. Making it real?
God damn it. Ah. Shit. Do we? Do we, Arthur? Oh, fuck. I don't know if we do. Ah, shit. Let go. No. Let go of me. Let go of me. No. Get off. God damn it. I can't block in time. Woo! That was a good dodge. Ah, let go. Ah, let go. Let go. Shit. You bitch. You bastard. You piece of shit.
Stop!
Bitch.
Please, I beg you, stop. Come, sir. You won the fight already. Surely that's enough.
What business is it of yours?
No business. No business, sir, but please, I beg you.
Jeez. Hi, Jay. I'm doing well. How are you?
Making new friends again, I see, Arthur.
Look who we found sniffing about.
Josiah Trelawney.
The very same.
Well, I thought you'd gone to New York.
And miss all this glamour. You must be joking.
How are you?
Well, quite well indeed. I went to Blackwater looking for you gentlemen. You're not very popular there, it seems. Ah! Javier and Charles. I've missed you. And Bill looking as well as can be. Gentlemen, always a pleasure.
You're right.
That's good. I'm glad to hear. I'm glad you hear you're doing okay.
And young Sean, it seems.
Sean, you found him.
Yes, I have. He's being held by some bounty hunters, trying to see how much money the government will pay them. I know he's in Blackwater, but there's talk of them moving.
Well, if we step foot in Blackwater... Well, then we're dead men for sure.
There'll be Pinkertons all over the place, but if he's alive, we gotta try.
Yeah, of course.
It's you they want, Dutch.
Yeah, I
Always is.
saw. I was talking about it a little bit
Charles,
yesterday
go find
in
out
the
what you
VC.
can. Carefully. Josiah, take Javier. Arthur, go get yourself cleaned up. Join them when you're ready.
Well, what about me?
Well, exactly. What about you?
What does that mean?
Oh, Bill, come on.
Where's my hat? Hang on, I need my hat. I came in for my hat. Yeah, I know. I'm hoping that Summer Games Fest will pick up what E3 is leaving behind. But
People. I do all I can manage. Are you doing all you can?
But we'll see, I guess. Alright, what do we have now? Strauss. Oh no, this is the no, not Uncle. I think this is the hunting one, but we'll see.
Use your strength to help the weak.
All right, let's go see what quest this is.
Yeah, okay, boy.
I know I always really look forward to E3 every year, so it sucks to see it go, but unfortunately it makes sense. I think that COVID really fucked up E3. I think that not being able to really host it properly for those like couple years, just it kind of really screwed it up. It's unfortunate, but I mean, there were a lot of things that were fucked up by COVID, unfortunately. Man, my horse has got so much mud on it, you can barely see there's white spots on the horse anymore. I'm hoping we can go to the... If we can go to the barn, I have a horse that I'm supposed to get for... I have a horse I'm supposed to get because I got Ultimate Edition. But I gotta unlock the stable first, and you can't... unlock the stable. You can't unlock the stable until you do a certain quest. Oh yeah, I think this is it, because here's that horse that he talks about.
Hey, Arthur.
Jose?
You want to go hunting?
Yeah.
What are you hunting? An elephant?
I wish. No, I saw a huge bear. One
Huge
of the biggest
bear.
I ever saw. I reckon nearly 1,000 pounds.
My God. What, you need me to come with you?
Of course. Let's go.
Where are we heading exactly?
Up near the Dakota River. Might take a day or two.
I could do with a break from this place.
Oh, me too. It's been a rough couple of weeks. You need anything?
I don't think so. I got all I need.
Let's go then. So you still ain't replaced Boadicea?
Nah, I miss her. She was quite a horse. This one's okay, but ain't no Boadicea.
I've been meaning to offload this big Shire horse for a while now. Unruly bastard.
Where'd you get him?
Some big, loudmouth bastard tried to rob me, was out riding, so well, you know how it is.
I see.
Let's take him to Valentine. It's on the way, sorta. There's a decent dealer there. We'll unload him, you could buy yourself a new horse. Put your saddle on him, let's get going.
Okay, but I do kind of like this horse.
There's nothing wrong with two horses, and the stables always have the best ones.
Well, I guess you're right.
Alright, here you go.
This is gonna be fun, Arthur.
You won't throw
I thought that I thought for a moment this horse had a name. I was about to say, who named this horse? It wasn't me.
Don't be rude about this magnificent creature.
Easy, bitch.
He's huge.
All right, let's head into town. No bar fights, please. I heard about that.
I'll do my best.
We're heading out. Might be gone a couple of days. They got a good range of horse tack at the Valentine stables. Some
Look at him. He's huge.
I used to have a real
Big old horse. He's like, look at the horse compared to Hosea's horse.
that saloon in Deer Creek.
Massive horse. Huge.
I remember now. Just about.
Can you stop?
Yes.
Jug, I'd appreciate if you stop. That'd be kind of cool.
Threatened to kill the whole town.
It'd be pretty poggers if you could stop.
Davey was passed out so cold we left him there. Came back in the next day and he woke up, started right back drinking again.
I miss those boys.
Jenny, too. She had some spark, that girl.
It must be pretty hard on Lenny. You could tell he was sweet on her.
Well,
Okay.
Lenny and Jenny could never have worked. That's like Arthur and Martha, or Bill and Phil.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Does feel a bit like our luck died with them, too.
Nonsense. We'll be all right. Just need some money to get back on our feet.
I hope so. You found a way to offload those Cornwall bonds yet?
Not yet. They're still very hot. Need to be done right. I have a couple of leads I'm looking into.
Sorry if I go quiet during these parts, gamers. I don't like to talk too much during the talk, like the talking parts. Feels like interrupting a person, if that makes sense, you know?
It's okay, boy.
There's some times where I'll do it, but most of the time I try to just I try to sit and listen, let it pass through. Yes, reverse dapple black thoroughbred.
Go sell that big brute. Buy yourself a horse.
Yeah.
I'm going off to the general store. Get a few things to lure that bear out with. Meet you back here in a bit.
Hey, how can I help you? I'm in the market for a new horse. Something strong and fast. Yeah, well, you're in the right place. I got some beauties in at the moment. Yeah. And what about this one here? Yeah, you looking to sell? I sure yeah. You got papers? No. No papers. Well, of course, that's gonna affect what I can pay. But your luck's in. I got a fella who's been looking for a decent workhorse like this for a while. He'll pay a good price. Otherwise, I can always stable him here for you. Here, take a look.
We're going to sell this horse. Thank you very much. All right. Wow, look at that. It's a male. I'm thinking. They won't let you change the gender, unfortunately. This is important, okay? This is important. Alright? This is one of the most important decisions I'll make in my life. That's not true, but it is important, okay? It's an important decision. What you decide to name your horse is very I'd say it says a lot about you, whatever you name your horse. I don't want to name like like one thing I noticed about like the way the fur lays is like it looks like thunder, lightning, or clouds, right? You know, but I'm not naming my fucking horse Thunder or Lightning. You know, we're not doing that shit. That's so stereotypical. Or Storm. I'm not doing that either. I'm thinking. What are we gonna name this horse? Oh, I know. I know what we can name the horse. I know. Hang on. Let me make sure I'm tabbed into. Okay. Uh-oh. it broken? Did I break it? There it goes. Okay. My horse's name will be Groger. Well, that sounded like a dog fight. Ooh, check him out. Alright, let's see. Let's edit his appearance a little bit. I personally enjoy... I have a preference for the long mane styles. Wow, thank you so much for following. I appreciate it so much. Okay. There we go. Pre-purchased. That must be my old saddle. I don't think I've unlocked any of the nicer ones yet. So we'll just put that one on there for now. $40. Alright. Services. Horse care package. Always important. Where are... Can you not get him here? You might have to get him in the, Yeah, I think you do. Get a bottle of horse reviver just in case. Alright, I think we're good.
Alright, partner. You got yourself a deal. And a fine new horse.
I hope
so. Yeah.
I don't sell anything other than good animals. You have my word on that. Here are your papers. And on me, a new grooming brush. And some treats. Appreciate it. Yeah. All right, you. You treat this fella well. I know he's gonna look after you just fine.
Oh, don't you worry.
Looks like a nice animal you got there. You happy?
Guess we'll see.
Ooh, Lord. Oh, my God. My horse is squirrely. Where's it going? What? Where are you going?
Hop on up there. Let's go. All right, let's get going.
Oh, my God.
Lead the way.
My horse is trying to escape. He's like, get me out of here. I don't want to be here.
It's called O'Crea's Run. Up in the mountains east of Cumberland Falls. I can remember how to get there.
Back into the mountains. I sure didn't figure on that.
But this time, we're doing the chasing.
Okay.
So how are things with you and John?
Fine.
Ain't it about time you let it go now?
It was a year, Hosea. He ditched us for a goddamn year.
I've spoken to him many times. He knows he did wrong. He just wants to put it behind him.
I'm sure he does. Running off on that kid is one thing, but there's code, and he knows that. He ain't Trelawney. Dutch and you pretty much raised him.
I know, but it's done. Has been for a while now.
Nobody else would have been welcomed back that easy after that long, and you know it.
Maybe, but please don't you put that to the test.
I never would.
The heck is that noise?
Whoa.
Look at him. Look at how beautiful my horse is. Such a pretty horse. I think there's some other stuff I got too for story mode. I just don't remember what.
Okay, I think we need to head right up here.
You can hear Fox.
Yes, I remember this place. Moonstone Pond. We're going the right way. That's the lake there. Good. We made it. Let's loop around the other side.
Where you think Mike and Lenny got to? Susan sent them out scouting, but I figure they'd be back by now.
I have no idea. I hope they weren't picked up.
Oh, that's Pog.
I don't know.
He's effective in his own way. Lenny's got a good head on his shoulders.
Well, shouldn't have taken them this long.
No, but no point thinking the worst. Look there. Rabbits. Maybe we should catch one to cook.
Sure. Try and shoot one.
You don't want to use anything too powerful on a small animal like that. Just ruin the meat. Best thing's a bow or a 22 caliber varmint rifle.
I have hunted rabbits before, you know.
Yes, and obliterated the shotgun, if I remember right.
Where did you go, little rabbit? Hi, Multi. How are you? Welcome to the stream. How are you doing? Oh, I think I see them. They're in the flower bed. Shit, that was really loud. Get down, get down. Nothing. Nothing at all. Nothing. Nothing. Nope, nothing at all. I don't, no. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just, getting some dinner for me and Hosea. You know, chicken.
Right. It's getting late. Reckon we should camp here.
Sure.
Yep, chicken.
Well, then you get us set up.
It's just chicken. Yeah, I was going to doing the chicken.
I'm famished.
Cook that rabbit then. They're
He meant chicken.
an open fire like this.
Fine by me.
Long-eared chicken. See, look, chicken. See, that's totally a chicken tender. That's totally a chicken tender.
You want some of this?
No, I'm fine. I don't like eating this late.
Okay. After all that.
Yeah. Just long-eared wild chickens. Yep. Look at all those chickens. Many chickens. All the chickens. All the chimkins. So many chimkins. I'm just gonna cook these ahead of time and stow them away. That way I can have them for later. Goddamn, how many of these things do I have? Okay, now I'm done. Yeah, chicken season.
All right. Well, we better get some rest. I want to be up at first light to find this monster.
Go to sleep. Go to sleep. We're in our hunk shoe area. Or our hunk shoe era.
Morning, Arthur. You ready?
Oh, give me a minute.
Coffee?
Sure.
There you go.
So, what's your plan?
Well, we'll see if we can track him, but we might need to lay bait to draw him out. Bears like fish, obviously, but they also have a sweet tooth. A lot of fellas bait then shoot from the trees, but I prefer to hunt on the ground. More dangerous, but we'll have a much better chance of getting a good shot in. And if he bolts, we can start right off after him. Can you mix up this bait for me while I finish packing this up? Fish, berries. Tie it up in that rag when you're done.
I hope you know what you're talking about.
Alright.
I grew up in the mountains.
Potent predator bait.
I was virtually weaned on bear meat.
Okay, I think I got this done.
Good. Pack up and we'll get going. Pack up, Arthur.
I'm packing it up.
Okay, let's go.
Okay, boy.
Okay, boy.
Try our luck down by the water. That's where I saw him last.
Okay.
How's that horse treating you?
So far, so good.
You know, I was in this area with Bessie years ago.
Really? I didn't know that. I imagine you still miss her.
Every day.
Every day.
Did you two ever think about getting out of the life?
We did briefly. You don't remember? Guess you were still young. Didn't last long. I drifted back into it. She understood. She knew what I was.
I remember you not being around for a while, but well, things were looser back then.
Truth is, there's never really any getting out. And staying in, it's hard. You know that. But Bessie and I made it work. Why? You thinking about getting out?
Me? No, of course not.
Listen, if Dutch's grand plans work, and we can make enough money to go someplace new, really new, maybe we can all have a new start. Anyway, for now, let's try and chase ourselves a bear, shall we? Let's look by the water here, see if he's been fishing again recently.
I don't think Dutch would ever be able to go to a normal life. I think Dutch will always be in the life of crime.
Look for tracks, dung, bones, any sign of him.
Well, there's some paw marks here, Hosea. They sure look big enough.
Good. Let's hope it's him. You tell which way he went?
This way.
We're looking. Where'd he go?
The tracks go into those trees.
I meant to do. I'm trying to get out of my crouch. There we go.
Wait a minute. Something on the ground here.
Half-eaten fish here. Must have been left by our friend, I reckon.
Come on, see if there's anything else.
I don't need to. It's right there in front of me.
Something else on the ground, just here. There's shit here. Watch your step.
Looks real fresh. Reckon he's got to be close.
Let's keep going. Damn it. Looks like the trail ends here.
I was about to say, it looks like I
We
lost
lost
it.
For now. A little optimism, Arthur.
Well, what do you think?
I think we split up and each look.
Either that or we could place bait here.
That could work. Which do you think?
Let's use the bait.
Let's bait here.
Fine by me. Let's leave the bag over there.
Okay.
Those boulders up ahead looks like a good spot for it.
All right, right up here. Satchel predator bait. All right. Yeah, but for how long?
1,000 pounds, you say?
More or less. Big scar down his face. Hey, did that bait look okay to you?
I think so. You're the expert.
Ready with your gun there?
I'm good. You okay? You seem nervous.
So do you. I'm fine. Let's just take a look at that bait.
Sure.
Come on.
We only just said it, Jose.
I know, but we need to do this right. Give me a hand here. Got your knife? Shit.
Look at that big old bear.
Easy. No, it's too close.
You okay?
You're fine, old man.
Of course I'm fine. It's nothing. Nothing at all.
Thank you, I think. That was fun.
You know what, Arthur Morgan? I'm a little old and beaten up to be after the biggest game. You can have this.
What is it?
It's a map. A man in a bar gave it to me. Well, I stole it from him, but that's another story. He said it told him where to find some real big animals.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah.
You saved my life, Arthur.
Oh my goodness.
I think I'm going back to camp to lick
It's
my
just a bear.
wounds. You coming, or you gonna track that monster? Well, you coming or not?
I'm gonna go with Hosea.
I'm coming with you.
Let's get going then.
Let me see here. Oh, that's such a small. Trying to figure out what
Let's
else
see
is.
if Dutch gives us any crap about disappearing like that. I don't need another "we gotta be out there making money" speech.
We were just out scoping a lead. He doesn't need to know it's a big furry.
Oh, hi. Thanks for checking in. I'm still a piece of garbage.
Don't worry about it.
Thank you for checking in. I really appreciate it.
See you later.
Okay. Alright, you get Talisman and Medallion gameplay bonuses, Bank Robbery Mission, Gang Hideout, Nuevo, Parcio, Gunslinger Outfit, and free access to additional weapons. Gameplay boosts, cash bonuses, discounts. Okay. So, from what I understand, I should be able to ride into town and get some free weapons, I think. Let me see here. Because Valentine has got a gunsmith. Alright. Let's go right into town. Go see if I can get... I wonder if it's like 3 specific ones, or like you get it, like you can get up to 3 different guns for free. I feel like it's 3 specific ones. It'd be a little broken if you could get 3 different guns for free. Ah, shit. Shut up. Oh shit. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, we gotta get up here and dispose of this. They're gonna find it. The law will find it. Alright. There we go. Stick that there. Okay, I gotta go up here and get this body. Run, 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 run. I don't want to get caught by the law. Hurry up, hurry up. Pick him up. Okay. Oh, come on, come on, come on. Hurry up, run, Arthur, run. Oh shit, I think I hear somebody coming. Okay, put him down, put him down. Get over here. I think the coast is clear. I gotta get this guy up here, though. We gotta get him and move him further in. Alright, there we go. I think that should be good. Oh, there's another one up here.
There we go.
Hang on, you stay here. Let me get this last one and then move him in. Here, pick him up. We'll put him in the bush here. There we go. Nobody should be able to see him. Alright, that should be good enough. I don't think anybody can see him hiding in that bush. Let's get out of here before somebody connects us to the crime. Fucking O'Driscolls, am I right? Can't believe them bastards. trying to jump up on me like I'm like I'm nothing. Hot. I'm hot shit, and they just don't know it.
You know, easy now.
Excuse me, gamers. Excuse me.
Give a fella a nickel. Give me a dime. Give me something.
New patron. Welcome.
All right, what you got here?
You're that fellow who had to fight with Tommy outside of Smithfield's?
Yep.
People are still talking about that fight.
I ain't.
Yeah, fair enough. Neither's Tommy. Anyway, how can I help you today?
Og. What are the other ones that I get for free then? So volcanic pistol. Oh, a varmint rifle for free? Oh, thank you. That's gonna make hunting so much easier. What else? And a pump action shotgun. Okay. Now let's go back to ammunition. Let's get some revolver cartridges. Some repeater cartridges. Oh, I forgot to move it here. Yes, get it. Oh my god, so many dance emotes. That's so many of them. Goodness gracious. You are truly jamming, Multi. Shiny button had to press. There we go. Get some varmint rifle. Man, I'm excited about that varmint rifle.
Well, let me know what you want. I'll bring it out. Thanks.
I need some money.
Howdy, friend.
Howdy.
Yeah, nearly done, boy.
Give a fella a nickel.
Let's go, boy.
Alright.
Hi there.
Howdy.
Leviticus Cornwall's train robbers still at large.
Oh, are they? Man, I wonder who did that. That's crazy. Can't imagine who'd do something like that. Alright, we're gonna ride back to camp.
Yeah, good boy.
What a good boy. You're alright, boy.
Yeah, that's it, boy.
Yeah, that's it, boy. Oh, there's some deer. Oh, I hear some turkey, too.
Yeah, good boy.
Yeah, good boy.
Who's that? Whoa. Look who's back.
so bad?
Oh, yeah. That fight was nothing.
I'm sure. Alrighty. Okie dokie, game. Ooh, excuse me. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and get ready to wrap up for the evening. I'm feeling a little eepy. I think... Yep, okay. So, for those who aren't aware, I think for the past 3 years, Papa Mutt has been running a, charity stream, and this is the 3rd year. So we're gonna go right over there and give him some support for running such an amazing event. Papa's currently raising money for Toys for Tots. So we're gonna go right over there. Papa Mutt. Bada bing, bada boom. Thank you guys for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate it. Tomorrow, we're starting stream quite a bit later than normal, but it's because we're going to be having a Lethal Company collab, and it's going to be super cool. I'm so excited. I'm so ready for it. So please join me back here tomorrow, 8 p.m. EST for our Lethal Company collab. It's going to be so poggers. If you're new here and you aren't following me already on my socials, here's all of those. That's the best way to keep in touch with what I'm doing and what time I'm streaming and stuff, is to follow me in my socials. I've got a Twitter that I'm pretty active on, Instagram, Blue Sky, YouTube channel, Discord. My Discord server is pretty active. Saturday, we're going to be having our second Chainsaw Man anime night. So, yeah, we're gonna be watching episodes 3 and 4 of Chainsaw Man. So, you know, if you're interested in anime and you want to watch some anime with us, my Discord server is a pretty cool place to hang out. It's also pretty comfy and cozy. With that being said, thank you guys for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it, and I will see you guys all tomorrow. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Peace out, gamers. Bye.
In order to avoid gaining weight and increased risk of diabetes. Also be mindful of your caffeine intake.